So, I remember when I was in my early 20s, around there, sometimes I would have, some random people start talking to me. They were like around 70 or 80 years old or something like that. And they would just randomly start telling me things like, in 1965, I was the president of blah, blah, blah. Or in the 1950s, I was doing this, And they would just start going off on a long story about that. And I would always find that a little bit weird. And I wouldn't really know what to say. Sometimes I'll be like, do they want me to clap for them or something, So I actually don't get annoyed at that anymore. When somebody comes to tell me something that they did, back in their days that was really significant to them, I do listen now, and I don't get annoyed. And this just makes me think about what is it about us nearing the end of our lives, or just being towards the end of life, that just makes us want others to know what we did, that makes us want to tell others that in this year we did this, that we did this in high school. And I really do notice it a lot with people who are much older, maybe they're like in their 70s, 80s, around there. And I even wonder, maybe when they were young and they were doing all these things, maybe they were too humble to tell people about it. Or maybe they didn't celebrate this enough. So now they feel like, now there's a thing where they feel they have to tell others. There is one thing about the end of life, and those who are actually just dying, that does come up when they're dying. And that is regret. And a lot of regrets about a lot of things, actually. But one of them is regret about not feeling like they did some things that they really wanted to do while living, And some of us, maybe when we're reaching a certain age, we're like, wait, I really wanted to do this and I haven't done it yet. Or I really wanted to do that and I didn't do it. There's a really famous quote that I see all the time. And I think it goes something like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I actually think that is, pretty true. And I think that if we have an idea, or if there's something that we really want to do, we should just give it a try. Why not? At least we tried. And maybe we're not going to do everything, because obviously, we don't have, life does go by pretty fast, and sometimes we don't have time to do everything we wanted to do. But I think that even if we do one or two things, and we're able to do that, that is something that can, feel great to us while we're living. And I also think that we need to celebrate, because, when you think about death, you have to think about being alive as well. How am I living now? And I think that celebrating our lives is good. Listening to others, celebrating with others what they did is great. Life is already very challenging in many ways. And I think that we should take every opportunity that we can to celebrate our lives, to celebrate something that we did that was wonderful, that made us feel good. Or maybe it was a goal that we reached that made us feel great. And yes, so I was thinking about that. It was even reminding me, I always think about the people who retire from work, those who retire. And I have always thought this, by the way. Because, I look at some of these people and I'm here like, wow, they were in this company for so many years and they did so much. Like, they did so much. Some of them probably even like barely spent time with their families because they were doing so much for work, And then I just feel like at the end, maybe they do a little party for them at the end of their work time. You know, they do a little party for some of them. I don't know what they do. Maybe they just say good luck. And then they leave that job. And one thing that I have found is that I notice that in the next few years, I barely hear the name of this person who did so much of this job. As if it's almost like they did so much that that person should have a party that lasts 20 years because of all they did at work, you know? So I think about that even with like when people retire at work. So it's just something that is really interesting that we feel. It seems like a lot of us feel, especially when we come to a certain age or even when we're dying. You know, there's something about not being forgotten, that we don't want to be forgotten, that we want to be celebrated for some of the things that we did in this life that were very tough and difficult. So yes, that's what I will say. Celebrate. If somebody wants to listen, tell them what you did. Sure, tell them what you did in 1965, okay? Tell them what you did in 2024 too. All right, that's all for now. Bye.